Welcome to the United States of America, home of the brave and the unhealthy. This country exists in North America, right in between the countries Canada, which is north of the United States, and Mexico, which is south of the United States. The U.S. consists of 50 states, and she is a fairly new country, being born on July 4th, 1776. But let's not get into those details. What is really important is the people who live there. Ah, yes, the Americans, all 317 million of them. We are made up of many ethnicities and race, but there are some more prominent than others. Take a look. As you can see, the whites take the lead at 72.4%. Next comes the Hispanic or Latinos with 16.4%. African Americans come shortly after with 12.6%. Not last, and definitely not least, come the Asian Americans with 4.8% in population. But like I said before, the US is very diverse, so that is just the majority. When it comes to age and gender, like most countries, the US women take the lead in outliving the men. So that does affect the median age of the US. Take a look. For both genders, the median age is 36.8 years, but separated, the female median age is 38.1 years, while the male's median age is 35.5 years. How about the old versus the young? Well, there's quite a percentage gap. That is mostly because the last of the baby boomer generation, who turned 50 this year, is steadily making its way over the 65-year mark. Let's back up though. Ages from 0 to 14 hold 20.2%. Ages from 15 to 64 hold 67%, and ages from 65 years and older is 12.8% of the population. Before we take a ride on the American economy, it is important to understand the population percentage of people that participate in the workforce, which is 62.8%. Yep, that means we have a 5.8% unemployment rate. But we are going to be okay because we spend most of our taxes on military. Despite those numbers, the United States is the largest importer of goods and second largest exporter. Government is the leading field of employment with 21.2 million people. The largest private employment sector is healthcare and social assistance with 16.4 million people. With that, the typical U.S. household makes $51,000 per year. Some fun facts. The United States is the only advanced economy that does not guarantee its workers paid vacation, and is one of just a few countries in the world without paid family leave as a legal right. This is important because it shows the differences in time available to spend on leisure activities compared to other countries, which on average take more vacation days than the U.S. This also shows one of the main reasons why leisure in the U.S. is so different compared to other countries. In 2009, the United States had the third highest labor productivity per person in the world and was fourth in productivity per hour. Wow. So, what does that mean for leisure in the United States? Well, Americans are obviously working very hard for their money, but there is still a major gap in between the wealthy and the rest of the population. The middle class is steadily decreasing into the lower class, but still working harder than ever. Leisure time then becomes limited, especially for people having to support a family. The people who do not get enough leisure time are probably the ones who need it the most. Yes, we are a country of democracy, but you see, a democracy doesn't really work if the people do not participate. Just this year, the United States reached its all-time highest percentage of people who did not go and vote. But again, let's not get into those details. Let's concentrate on all the great stuff about America. The United States has many things to offer, such as beautiful locations to visit, which is how many of the Americans spend their leisure time, but mostly a leisure time for the tourist. Here are the top 10 most visited destinations in the United States. New York City also comes in fifth place in the world's top 10 most visited cities. Also, two of those cities are located near Disneyland, which is a very popular leisure activity for both Americans and tourists. A popular leisure activity to do in Southern California, where I am from, is to go to the beach. This also shows how your climate can be an influencing factor on the type of leisure activity you participate in. These are all destinations Americans travel to for vacation, but this next chart represents the leisure time an American spends on an average day. As you can see, the largest time spent on leisure is while watching TV. Television does a great job keeping Americans glued to the couch, watching different networks with different shows, all sponsored by different companies. The TV series called The Big Bang Theory on CBS is considered the most watched show in America. Some of CBS sponsors are Geico Insurance, Walgreens, Ford Motor Company, and the list goes on. Leisure time also differs with different ages, and the majority of the participants that spend the most time on leisure activities are from the ages of 75 and older. This brings me to a current debate issue in the U.S. Like I said earlier, the population of older adults in the United States is rising, and this may mean that we need more programs for their leisure activities, which would require more funding. Many disagree, but if this were an issue to be voted on, the older adults' votes would be highly represented because they have a higher voter turnout rate. Therefore, people who did not go and vote may end up being taxed for these elder programs. A trend that is emerging all around the world, but especially in the US, is a device called the GoPro. This is a trend that many young people of the United States are influenced by, but is definitely not determined by a gender. The GoPro absolutely affects American leisure activities because the GoPro specializes in documenting of adventurous activities. It is making people want to go out and do something, as well as document it and get a ton of likes on Instagram. But that's besides the point. People are spending their leisure and recreational time surfing, snowboarding, hiking, biking, etc. Let's face it, the GoPro is bringing life back into our American society. Well, I hope you enjoyed your time here in the United States of America, and thank you for watching.